Hello everybody, welcome to another video. There is 20 brand new champions added into the game, including a bunch of new legendaries and a bunch of new epics. Now, me and myself, I haven't even looked at these because, to be honest with you guys, they've been adding so many legendaries into the game at this point that it's really kinda, it's almost difficult to keep up with. I can look at them, but I'm not going to be able to memorize them, you know? It's not like I'm going to have them in my brain, and when I come across some kind of challenge in the game, I'm like, you know, it'd be perfect for this, one of those 170 new rares. But on top of it, we have the problem that basically every other YouTuber is already talking about, which is there are so many champions that it's diluting the pool. But on top of it, it's also making it difficult to book almost anything. You know, it's free to play. I'm having trouble booking one epic, okay? If you are pay to play, it's $100 for 7 legendary books, and I haven't even looked at how many books these legendaries need, but I promise you, if you even pull any of these, I bet you at least all of them are $100 to book, and that's after you spend the money to get the legendary. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into today's rant, and it's been a little bit since we've had a rant on this channel, so hit a like if you wanna help me out, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Last video, we got 120 subscribers, so that is the goal to beat. If we make more than 120 subs on this video, I'll tell you what, I will give out $100 worth of gems on the next video. I'll just pull it out of my wallet for you guys. That being said, love y'all, let's get on with the rant. All right, so we gotta start with the fusion guy. And of course, we're not gonna be doing the fusion on the free-to-play. Look, it requires not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 of the same epics, all 5-star, all fully ascended, which means, yes, you need 4 of each rares, and they all have to be ascended in level 2. This is not happening. This is one of the hardest fusions I have ever seen in this game for a character who admittedly can be pretty good, but you guys can look in game and see the skills. I'm not gonna go over the skills too terribly in this video, but I'm gonna give you my opinion on it, okay? You can attack, pairs up with the Countess, will ignore defense, strength, ally, all that, remove all buffs from the target if they're under Veil and Perfect Veil. This character seems to me like maybe an arena-based character, maybe a clan boss-based character, okay? The only reason I say clan boss is because it pairs with somebody else. I think they did a fantastic job on the art, but the amount of books, look at this, okay? 4 on the basic. You need 4 on this one. On this one, you need 5. 5 just for the cooldown, and that's not even where it ends, because if you really want this guy to be good, you have to have the parrying, because that's what he's meant for. Hold on, one sec, check for an ancient shard. Nope, no dopamine. That's what he's meant for. He's meant for the parrying. So let's go to the demon spawn, and let's look at the Countess, okay? So let's say you're a massive whale, you get the wing bro and the wing sis, okay? So here you go. Now, he does decrease defense on his basic, and when he basic attacks, she has a chance of placing weaken too. So you get a single target, defense down, and weaken, okay? So you start to realize why characters like Dracomorph are so important, the ones that have AoE defense down and weaken, right? Attacks all enemies 3 times, chance of placing decreased speed, attacks all enemies, block cooldown, also decreases the cooldown of all ally skills, except this champion by 1, that's so it doesn't loop, right? Removes a random debuff from Astrelith and this champion at the start of each turn, only available if Astrelon is on the team. Basically, what this means is you need the pairing for these people to be really good. I mean, she's going to be great on her own. I think she's probably better than the other guy, in my personal opinion. But look at the passive, right? Fills the champion's tournament 5% each time ally receives a debuff. It's the same as the other one, which every time an ally gets hit, he gets 5% too. So they're gonna be kind of speed demons. I could see maybe a full speed team, not even speed 2, no counterattack type of thing for clan boss could be really cool. I like the green better than the Countess, but they're both really good. They're both really well done art. The problem with them is, look again, 5 more books, okay? 4 more books, 4 more books. And they're being greedy because they don't even start the buff debuff chance into the second one, you know? And at some point it gets old because you get so many characters. It's like, I could pull this character on my main. I still probably will never use her, because do you think I'm gonna spend, what is this, 4, 8, and if we get lucky, only 5 books, which is 80 bucks. Otherwise, we got 13 books, which is basically $200. And let's not forget, you need the cooldown of this one, both the cooldowns, if you really want to make use of the decreasing the allies cooldown, right? That's what it's for. And you know the super annoying part is the god character, the character that's basically completely busted that everyone's going to want. Guess what? The aura, best in the game, ally speed in all battles. Okay, there you go. Look at this. Look at the passive. Let's just start with the passive. Allies receive when booked, again, when booked, but on this character, this is the annoying part. They weren't greedy on this one. They show you they can do it. Look, it goes straight to buff chance. It goes straight to cooldown. They don't have to do anything else here, do they? And then look at this, straight to cooldown. What? Why do legendaries need to have anything other than this system? We don't need 5% more damage 6 times in the move, and then the last one being the cooldown. You don't need to farm the legendary books from us on trash champions or champions that could be good but need 20 books when you're releasing champions at such a ridiculous rate. All of the characters should have this type of system, cooldown only, or buff chance literally only. But look at the basic attack, okay? Once again, attacks all enemies, heals all allies, then they threw the damage in there, etc. Okay, which is okay, I get it, it's a basic, but the ones that are just cooldowns should be just cooldown, and it's very frustrating because on the character that's so busted that they're making everyone try the polearm, you know, they do that on, so you know they can do it, they just don't do it on the one that people might actually get, like the fusions or the non-void legendaries. And if you want to know why this guy's so busted, take a look. He heals all allies right there. Look at that, just heals all allies with the basic attack of of their max HP, which is actually not as good as his max HP, especially because he has decent max HP, but it is a insane move. Look at this. On top of it, it places a true debuff for 1 turn. No percentage chance, just happens if they're from Demon Spawn, Undead, or Night Revenant factions. Undead is one of the largest in the game, so is Demon Spawn. Night Revenant's got quite a few too. On top of it, these are characters that are strong in Arena, so now you have true debuff landing in Arena too. This character is definitely going to be OP. The reason I say this is removes all debuffs from all allies, then places block debuffs buff and a revive on death buff, which cannot be removed. This is all allies for 2 turns, and when booked comes down to a 3-turn cooldown, meaning if you put Master Hexer or something like, or not Master Hexer, excuse me, Lasting Gifts, I think is what it's called, for masteries, this could potentially be 100% uptime. Do you need me to explain to you why 100% uptime on a non-removable revive on death is insane? And so for those reasons, characters like this kind of change the game. And they do tend to put them in the Void Legendary. So if you want to pull the best characters in the Void Legendary, it doesn't end there though. Look at this. 2 turns, cooldown with books, makes it down to 4 turn. Increase crit and increase damage, the max variety on everyone. Then teams up with all the people to attack a target enemy. Insane for Clan Boss, insane for dungeon clearing too, insane for Doom Tower. Just, this is an amazing move. What they did was they essentially took like the best parts of multiple characters and put them into one character. This character here is, in my opinion, the most absolute essential power creep we've ever got in the game. I don't know, I don't watch other people's videos, so I don't really know, to be honest, what other people are saying about this guy. But in my opinion, this is probably the most busted guy in the entire game. I don't see any other person who's more busted unless we're talking like an aspect of just pure utility and damage. I mean, Venus comes to mind, but I do not see how this move, which is basically the best support move I've ever seen, you know, minus maybe Sifi's A2, and what's essentially AoE revive, because it's a revive on death for 2 turns, it's just nuts. I mean, that's even before we get into the passive, which is allies receive 20% less damage from champions from Demon Spawn, Undead, or Night Revenant. You put that in Arena, suddenly that's good too, just 20% less damage. Imagine mixing that with Stalwart, which reduces more AoE damage, okay? Whenever an ally attacks, 15% chance to team up with them and join their attack. Look, just happens to have a chance to join everyone's attack. It doesn't take anything, just anyone can attack. And remember, his basic attack both heals and fears. It's completely busted, dude. And here's the person that he pairs with, which of course is the demon version of it. And I gotta say, they sure make these characters look cool now. You got all these wings and stuff. Everyone's gonna have wings by the end of this game. Look, the basic attack here attacks an enemy 3 times, and of course it has an HP burn. So now you've got better than poison on the basic attack, right? Well, I guess not better than, because it doesn't stack, right? But still, attack 3 times, HP burn. Well, we think Clan Boss, right? Then A2 here, look at this, chance of placing a weaken, also a chance of placing a decreased defense burn if there are at least 2 enemies under an HP burn. The reason they do this, I believe, is that you can't do this on clan boss, meaning you can place the weaken, but you cannot also place the decreased defense. That way you need a decreased defense character for clan boss. It's an interesting way to tune her to more waves and less for the clan boss. I get it. So here we have the A3, place the HP burn debuff on this champion herself, then attacks all enemies, has a chance of placing HP burn debuff on all enemies for 3 turns. Now remember, 3 turns is a lot, okay? When granted additional, meaning from lasting gifts, it's gonna be 4 turns, which her cooldown can get to, meaning you can have 100% uptime on this HP burn, potentially, and then grants an extra turn if HP debuff is placed on all enemies, meaning no one resists it, for instance, okay? Pretty good. Try to think if anything really particularly comes to mind with this character. She's just like an HP burn character, but then we get to the passive here, which is interesting. Increases champion speed by 3 and damage inflicted by 3% for each ally and enemy under HP burn debuff. So now, okay, also if Cardinal's on the team, which we just talked about, all allies will heal 3% of their max HP from HP burn debuffs instead of receiving damage and losing HP. AKA she heals herself from her own HP burn, and if Ignatius or something HP burns your team, you're actually getting healed. So insane, okay? So it turns that HP buff, I mean, you can just read it there. It just turns it into healing, which is nuts. And then we have, ally accuracy now about. So you can choose the ally accuracy or you can choose the speed. Again, we have another character that requires a lot of books. I mean, I won't say this one requires a ton of books. I mean, it's 4 there, or is that 5 there actually? 5, that's 10. So 14 books, and it's weird to say that 14 legendary books, AKA $200, isn't even a ton of books potentially, but there you have it, okay? Another character, another power creep, and then if we go to the final one, this is the one that strikes me as odd, okay? This guy, I'm not sure. It depends upon how he hits. See, with Mountain King, I wasn't sure. But with this guy, take a look. Attacks an enemy, heals 15% of the damage inflicted by the champion, 50% or less, and then fills his champion's turn meter 15% if he has more HP. Basically, if he has more than half, he gets 15% turn meter. And then here, this is the one that really makes no sense. So he attacks an enemy, and based upon the difference between his HP and the number of buffs between him and the target, he does bonus damage. I don't know if this is going to do absolute nuts damage. I mean, like 1,000,000 damage in one hit versus the clan boss type thing, because that could happen. It could cap out, I don't know. It doesn't say it caps out versus a boss or anything like that. This bonus damage equal the difference in HP levels or something. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's plus 1% of his total all in relevancy, if it's 1% of the HP levels compared to his, like he has 50 HP, the other person has 50,000, so it's 1,000%. They don't really specify, but I am assuming it caps out at 100% and it's subjective relevant to his HP. If he's at 33% of his total HP and clan boss is at 77% of his, there's a difference of 47% or whatever, right? And, there you have it. So that's what I would figure it goes. So it's a cool move. It'll be interesting to see if it hits a ton. This one is a perfect example, and this is where I'm going to end this video, because this is the problem. It's the perfect example of a character that could potentially be pretty decent. If his other moves just hit okay, he's horrible. But if this move was already just the 1 cooldown, it was already 100% chance of stealing 2 random buffs, because other characters like Cardinal, you just basic attack, the true debuff happens. Why do we have to have this chance? Look at this. 80% chance, you have to book it 7 times if you want 100% chance with the cooldown down of stealing 2 random buffs before attacking, and places an extra hit if they have any buffs left. That's not an insane move. I mean, it can steal some of the buffs before attacking. It's like a Madame move, only it doesn't do the defense down and the attack down, it just steals it, and that's a chance of stealing, and you have to book it. So I want to end the video on this. If 7 books for 1 move on a legendary that's not the best of the release, for one of the moves that's not the best of the character that's being released, that's not the best of the legendary, you get what I mean? It's like a move that's okay on the character who's okay, takes 7 books, and that's acceptable. Why should anyone ever be excited to max out the character if they pull them? Why would someone pull them and then be excited to put their legendary books into it, unless you're so completely free to play, it's the only legendary you're ever gonna have? I don't feel good about the fact that knowing free-to-plays are going to get very few and far between legendaries, or even dolphins are still not going to get that many legendaries. And when they do, they basically have to pick if they can even use the legendary based upon books, because some characters are completely different characters based upon books or not. The only thing I ask is do what you did with Cardinal. Moves that require cooldowns, just have cooldowns. We don't need the bonus damage. Move that requires percentage, okay? Please don't have 7 books to get the full percentage. Make it percentage cooldown. We don't need damage. This move doesn't need 5% damage, 5% damage, and 10% damage in it. It's a Mountain King type of character. Why are you, we don't want to book the extra damage. We're looking for the deep, it's stealing buffs. Like it's frustrating to me because it's obvious that these damage percentages or just these huge waste of books are only in there to slowly rake back the books that they give you from the advanced quests and stuff like that. So please change that. With that being said, that's it for today's video. If you agree with my points, subscribe to see more rants, and like if you want to see another free-to-play episode, which will be out today. Love you all. See you in the next video. And I'm going live into the video. Dab. Watch more videos. Join me live. Ooga booga, all the stuff YouTubers say.